Miami Dolphin fans, how's it hanging? If you can't see because there's too much of a bush going on, then you really need to go ahead and get started with today's sponsor, Manscaped. Head on over to manscaped.com and make sure you guys use promo code Dolphins to save 20% and get free shipping on the best male grooming products. Now, if y'all are looking for the latest Dolphins news and rumors, you're in the right place. We're going to be talking about Tua Tagovailoa a little bit today, give you a little bit of an insight of some stuff going on with OTAs. DeVante Parker had some interesting comments about their quarterback, and at the very end of today's video, I'm going to tell you about a wide receiver that could get cut. Tua changing his mechanics here on Dolphins Today. This is the story that we're starting the show off with because, according to DeVante Parker, his footwork looks a little bit different. The ball's coming out of his hands quicker, and all that good stuff you're hoping that your second-year quarterback takes is all this good stuff right here. So his mechanics looking different was something that a lot of people are talking about right now, and not that I'm really surprised by this news, because when I really think about all the reasons why Tua's footwork could be different or why the ball could be coming out of his hand quicker, I mean, think about it. He's fully healthy. He's learning the system a little bit. All those things contribute to exactly footwork and getting the ball out faster. Now, when you talk about rumors, when you talk about this entire offense, there's a lot of fingers being pointed at Tua Tagovailoa because of everything that this team did in the entire offseason. You added so much talent around him, so you're really hoping that he can take that next step. Another thing that a lot of Dolphins fans are hoping for is that Tua and DeVante Parker can get some of that chemistry down, because when you have your number one wide receiver and your quarterback of the future, you need them to be able to get along a little bit. But when you talk about Parker's season last year, it was a tale of two tapes, right? It was his tale with Tua and his tale with Ryan Fitzpatrick. So here are Parker's numbers in the 8 games that Tua Tagovailoa started last season. 57 targets, 29 catches, 345 yards, and 2 touchdowns. For everyone out there, you're about to see a major discrepancy in terms of his numbers with Ryan Fitzpatrick in only 6 games, okay? 46 targets, 34 catches. I mean, you're talking about a catch rate that's almost doubled. And then the games, 448 yards, 2 touchdowns. The biggest reason why I think these numbers influence that, let's face it, the Dolphins' offense was a little bit more free-flowing. Also, Ryan Fitzpatrick's not afraid to chuck the ball around, unlike Tua, who you could definitely see time in and time again was a little bit afraid to throw it down the field. So what I want you guys to do is look into your crystal ball here. Think about all the projections that you've seen on this show. Think about what could potentially happen this upcoming season, and I want you to project DeVante Parker's 2021 stats. Give me the targets, give me the receptions, yards, and touchdowns down in the comments section. We're going to go back here to Tua changing up his mechanics a little bit. Brian Flores has been speaking nothing but positive vibes around his young quarterback. Tua literally a week ago said, "I'm 10 times healthier right now than what I was at the start of last season." I don't know about y'all, but when I'm feeling pretty good and I'm trying to play a sport, that usually is going to be able to impact my game. He's worried about his hip last season. Now the hip's not really being bothered too much. And he's also come out and said he understands the offense a lot more. One of the biggest areas of improvement for him on himself was not only being a leader on the field, but knowing the playbook better. If you know what plays you're running, if you know what routes your receivers are going, guess what? The ball is going to come out of your hand just a little bit quicker. So when you look at these numbers here from his last 10 games or 10 games last season, the 11 touchdowns, 5 picks, the area that I want to see Tua really improve on this upcoming season is not being afraid to throw the ball down the field. I'll also point my finger and say that Chan Gailey's offensive scheme drastically changed when Ryan Fitzpatrick and Tua were both on the field. You got to trust this guy a little bit. You put a lot of offensive firepower around him, and I'm hoping that's what the Dolphins do this season. So give me your thoughts here, y'all. I want your one-word reaction. I don't want any cheaters in the comments section. I want a one-word reaction to your expectations for Tua this upcoming season. I'm going to go with breakout, but hey, let me know what you guys think. Now, if you guys are diehard Dolphins fans, and I imagine a lot of y'all that come across this channel are, who knows, if you watch this show when you're driving to work, maybe you're sitting on a flight, maybe you're waiting for a flight, maybe you're dropping a number 2. Bottom line is this: I want you to stay up to date on everything going on around your favorite team. So make sure you hit that big red button that says subscribe, and make sure you turn on those notifications. But not only do we do news and rumors around your team, we're an interactive YouTube channel, and all of our channels here at Chat Sports are. So I want to give a special shout out to some of the new subscribers that literally just came across the channel before I started the show. So shout out to David Wallace, shout out to DT. I think that's Miss Up a Fly. Hopefully I got that one right. Christopher Burke, and then Brock MacArthur. If you want to shout out on some of our upcoming shows, I'm going to start giving some shout outs to the MVP subscribers. So if you believe that you're an MVP subscriber, I want you to comment MVP. Tua Tagovailoa is the 34th best quarterback in the National Football League. At least that is according to NFL analyst Chris Sims. He ranked his top 40 quarterbacks in the league. Unfortunately, we have not seen number 1 yet because he is revealing at 40 all the way down to 1, and we're somewhere stuck here at 26. But the name that I saw that really jumped out to me was Tua being ranked at number 34. Like, Chris Sims had him ranked at 40 last year, and he kind of goes on to joking around. He's like, well, he improved. He was my 40th guy last season. For everyone who doesn't know how football works, there are 32 starting quarterbacks in the league, so essentially, he's not even good enough to be a starter. At least that's how I'm interpreting it. Now, what I want to be able to do is walk you through Sims' rankings here, because one of the things that Sims is known for is being a little bit hot takey. At least I personally think he is, especially for his quarterback takes, because he played quarterback, so he feels like he can do it. But hey, at number 40, he had Case Keenum, backup quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, Justin Fields from the Chicago Bears, Trey Lance, who was drafted number 3 overall this past year, Kellen Mond. I mean, when I saw Kellen Mond higher than Trey Lance and Justin Fields, I was like, all right, that's what this list is going to do, which is crumble it up. Let's throw it out the window. And yeah, Marcus Mariota at number 36, Tyrod Taylor or Tyrod, however you want to be able to pronounce it, at 35. New backup quarterback for Houston. Maybe the starter, depends on what's going on with Watson. 2 at 34, Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. We'll see who ends up winning that battle there. Jared Goff, the new quarterback for the Lions. And then 30 to 26, this is where the list stops because, again, he has yet to reveal all these other players on this list. But you got Mac Jones as a rookie, Andy Dalton, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Daniel Jones. I have a hard time believing that right now Mac Jones is better than Tua Tagovailoa. I've seen Andy Dalton play for a long time. Would you honestly be more confident in your team right now having Andy Dalton than Tua? That's a head-scratcher to me. And if you're going to rank rookies like Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson high, that's fine. But having Zach Wilson over Trevor Lawrence, there was a lot of very questionable things about this list so far. So, again, when you talk about what's going on with this list from top to bottom, I did want to be able to sit here and say, like, he hasn't revealed the rest of his list, which is totally fine. But what I want you guys to do, let's go back to school here. Now, some of y'all might already be in school. If you want to tell me what grade you're in, you can do that in the comments. If that's a weird thing to ask, then you know what? Actually coming out of my mouth, it's a weird thing to ask. Don't put it in the comments. I want you guys to grade Chris Sims' quarterback list so far. A, it's great. B, it's good. C, it's average. D, it's bad. F, it's an absolute fail. My grade for Chris Sims' quarterback list so far is this. It's a big fat F. Just because I see Tua at 34, I'm sorry, it's a little bit hot takey to me. I think that he is really just trying to grab headlines and just trying to get in videos, which, you know what? You absolutely did. But to rank a guy like Kellen Mond over Justin Fields and Trey Lance, come on, dude. And then to realistically put people like Zach Wilson over Trevor Lawrence or a Daniel Jones over some of these other quarterbacks here. I can't honestly look at a lot of people and sit here and say, you would really rather have Daniel Jones than Tua Tagovailoa on your roster. I mean, it's just really, really confusing to me. So this was a little bit hot takey to me. I didn't really like it too much. So for me, I'm going to give Chris Sims a big old fat number F. But again, we're talking about Tua here. And what I'm curious about you guys doing is when you see these rankings, okay, because putting Tua at 34 to me was just flat out disrespectful. It made me LOL a little bit. But what we do here at Chat Sports is instead of me just giving my 2 cents, this is the opportunity where I want you guys to do the exact same thing. So out of your top 40 quarterbacks, where would you rank them? Because if 34 is a little bit too hot takey for you, and when I think about, you know, what we did at Chat Sports, we had him ranked at number 22 out of all of our starting quarterbacks. And then I also think he's entering his second year. He's going to have a lot of talent around him. I mean, if you're putting him at 34, to me that tells me that Sims doesn't believe that he's going to be the quarterback of this team next season. So where would you rank Tua out of your top 40 quarterbacks? Go ahead and let me know. Now, today's show is presented by our good friends Manscaped, and I want every guy out there to listen up. Father's Day, it's right around the corner. If you're not a father yet, maybe if you go get yourself some Manscaped products, it can help yourself out. But if you got a special guy in your life, or even ladies out there, you're watching this, a great Father's Day gift, a great gift in general, is the Lawnmower 4.0. We're going to be here to hook you guys up. All you got to do, go to manscaped.com and make sure you guys use that promo code Dolphins, where you could save 20% off and get free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. They just launched the brand new Lawnmower 4.0, and with our deal, you can actually save close to $20 on it. I don't know about you, if I can save $20 and then use that $20 to go out and grab a drink or maybe a pina colada or something like that, whatever you guys do in Miami, I'd totally be down for that. This thing fits great in your hands. It doesn't vibrate like crazy. It's got a long battery life, up to like 90 minutes. Plus, you can see how long of a charge you have, which is so important. I don't know if any guys out there have ever been in a situation where you're shaving and then all of a sudden your razor dies halfway through. And then you're just somewhere between looking like Chewbacca and then you're looking like somebody who's using Manscaped. You don't want to be that guy. Go get the Lawnmower 4.0. It makes an awesome Father's Day gift, but you got to remember, manscaped.com and use promo code Dolphins. The latest news and rumors here around the Miami Dolphins and is Jakeem Grant potentially on his way out. The latest report that I personally have seen is that Grant could be one of these players that unfortunately ends up getting cut by the Miami Dolphins. Not because he's not a good player, not because he can't contribute, it's for the simple fact of money. Now, as soon as June 2nd came across, if the Dolphins decided to move on from Grant, they can save $4.1 million, which is only a $600,000 dead cap hit. Now, is he a good player? Yes, he is, but you also have to look at a lot of the moves that this team made, not only in free agency, but also the draft. As soon as they took somebody like Jalen Waddle in round one, it's kind of like, well, there's your Jakeem Grant, Albert Wilson replacement. But then you also went out and signed Will Fuller, who's going to be a little bit of a field stretcher. And you can't forget about Preston Williams, who was realistically the number 2 receiver last season behind DeVante Parker when he was fully healthy. So that kind of puts you in this awkward situation, if you will, if you're Grant. Because I also know the Dolphins are excited about Lynn Bowden Jr., but you also have to decide what you're going to do with Hearns, Grant, and even a guy like Albert Wilson. I mean, realistically, those 3 players could easily get cut. And when you look at his numbers from last season in 14 games, I mean, 36 catches, 373 yards, a touchdown. Sure, he does bring you some special teams value here or there, but he's an undersized receiver who really thrives off being able to stretch the field and needs to be a speedy underneath route guy that can not only run the slant routes, but can go deep as well. I mean, I think we would all agree that you're explaining a worse version here of exactly what Jalen Waddle is going to be able to give you. I don't know if I've never seen Grant and Waddle run in the race. If Waddle's fully healthy, I'm going to put my money and all my chips on Waddle's table. Who's the better ball catcher? Going to be Waddle. Who's the better route runner? It's Jalen Waddle. Like, it's no disrespect to Grant. It's just you have to see what they're doing, and this is an easy move for me personally. So will Miami cut Jakeem Grant? I want you to go down in the comments and let me know. Give me a Y for yes, or I want you to type N for no. I liked watching Grant this past season. He's a good player. He's going to be able to get, probably on a roster somewhere. So for me, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to type my Y for yes, that it's time to move on from Jakeem Grant. You can save $4.1 million, and if you can invest that money into some other areas on your football team, maybe you want to add a little bit more depth on the offensive line. Maybe you want to go out and sign a veteran running back, if you will, with this young running back room. Definitely something to keep in mind. The other area is this. Just because you cut Grant does not mean that you can't bring him back. And if they do decide to release him, this is going to be one of the top candidates that I could see Miami going out and being like, hey, man, would you be interested in potentially coming back if you guaranteed yourself a roster spot? For Grant, I would say, yeah, sure, I know I can play here. The other option is this, though. If I'm him and his agent, there's going to be a lot of other football teams out there that give you a better possibility. But if I was Miami, I cut him, I saved the $4.1 million, and then I'm like, hey, you want to come back for a one-year type of prove-it deal for probably, $980K, somewhere around that margin. But it's crystal ball time here. How many targets would Jakeem Grant get in 2021? This is essentially for the people out there that are saying, no, Mitch, I'm not going to cut him, I'm going to keep him. Because would you realistically keep a player who I don't even know if he's going to get 50 targets this season? Realistically, when I think about the 5th, 6th, maybe he's the 7th option on this offense, I mean, to me, that's less than 40 targets. And are you going to give somebody $4 million for less than 40 targets? The answer to that is no. And if you're really struggling, I'm like, all right, targets, this and that. Here are the top 5 leaders last season for the Miami Dolphins in terms of targets. You had DeVante Parker at 103. Mike Gesicki at 85. Sure, both of these guys battled injuries, but then you got Jakeem Grant, third on the team with 54. Myles Gaskin at 47. Isaiah Ford at 44. I predict that it's going to be Parker 1, Gesicki 2, Will Fuller maybe number 2 or 3. Jalen Waddle's going to be sprinkled in there. Like, I just named 4 players that I guarantee are going to have more targets than Jakeem Grant. So even if best case scenario, he's the 5th option, I still say, why are we wasting our targets on Grant and not throwing it to those other guys that I just mentioned?